Alright, welcome to another episode of Don't Quote Us. My name's Jeremy.
My name's Steve.
And I'm Chad.
And today we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch, specifically about when did we first get one, what made us buy it, what first games did we play, and what first games did we beat. So I think we're going to just start off with when did you get your Switch? I know I had mine pre-ordered as soon as I saw the presentation on it, as soon as they allowed you to pre-order. Unfortunately, we weren't there right from the get-go, and the neons were sold out, so we ended up with the gray.
I did see that you got the double gray.
Yeah, unfortunate, but it happens.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Chad, you got it right after Jeremy.
I got it as soon as I could afterwards, which I think was probably about 2 to 3 months afterwards. I didn't pre-order it.
It got rough.
It did. It was hard finding it, but I did find one.
They always did say that, like, it was like online, especially like IGN, they would have their lists of where you could find one.
Yeah.
That pretty much sold out relatively quickly, but I will remember going in, and this is before I bought it, because I shop and I shop and I shop for everything high dollar amount. I have to do it mentally. It's what I do for everything. Oh, you should have saw me when I was pricing out wireless headphones and everything like that. It was absolutely insane going back and forth.
You do your research.
You have to do your research. I found one at Walmart one time, and I was close to buying it. I felt like an idiot because I found one in the wild, did not buy it. I didn't find another one until I decided to actually purchase it. So it was a little bit tougher going on early. So
Yeah.
How long ago, or how long after the launch date?
I actually got mine February of 2018.
Whoa,
so
almost a year after me.
It was almost a year. I personally know when any time an electronic comes out, Gen 1, there's always some issues. And even if it stays within the same current, console name, like the Nintendo Switch, after a while the components do change a little bit.
Sure.
They get better off at making them. Everything kinds of hold together. Now, I'm kind of jumping forward, but some people with Switch issues where the battery expands, it kind of explodes a little bit. I don't think I'm going to have that issue because I waited. Now, I don't know if you guys have had any issues.
I haven't had any.
No.
Okay, so that's kind of the reason why I waited for mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also wanted to make sure there were games to play in order to make
Oh, yeah.
the purchase of a $300 console or $300 handheld worthwhile. So that's when I got mine. I got mine the latest in the lifespan.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I knew they announced Zelda. They talked about a Mario game coming right from the get-go. I mean, during the presentation, they're talking about Mario Odyssey coming in the first year. They're talking about Splatoon 2. And that was enough. Those 3 games, Zelda, Mario, and Splatoon, were enough to make me get the Switch. I mean, I'm one of the few people that got a Wii U. I actually own a Wii U. I don't hate it. I think it was a good console. I just don't think it had the biggest library because it was mostly first-party stuff. There was not a lot of third-party titles on the Wii U that are worth talking about.
Do you still go to the support group with the 9 other people that bought the Wii U, or do you guys still
No.
keep in contact? No.
No, but it is.
No, Jeremy and I do.
I will tell you, it's
playing.
a great console though. If you hack it and you can play play any of your legally owned ROMs on it, it's a great console. It's got enough juice to do all that.
I will say the only thing I know about the Wii U is there are games that were great games, but nobody played them because nobody bought the Wii U. I personally, when I thought the Wii U came out after the Wii, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I'm into video games. Like
Yes.
I'm in the know, and I want to say when the Wii U came out, I mean, I personally really do love a good Nintendo game, Nintendo console, Nintendo handheld. That's where I checked out. I was out, but I mean, obviously the Switch brought me back on board. Obviously with the games and everything like that. And again, I mean that's the reason why I got one. But my question for you guys is, what did you get first on Switch? What was your first game? And I think I already heard a little bit. Let's start with Chad. Let's start with my main man.
Let's do it.
Probably not a surprise if you saw our first 2 episodes. I was wearing the Zelda jersey. So yeah, Breath of the Wild.
Team Hyrule.
Very much so.
I was Breath of the Wild as well because it was the first game. I mean, there wasn't a lot there right from day one that interested me other than that. I did get Bomberman, I think, as my second, but Zelda was why I was there. And I will say about that game, it consumed your time. I mean, I easily have over 150 hours into that game. And
without trying though.
no,
Without,
that's not with me going back to it or anything. That's just with me going through everything I wanted to do and beating it once. That's really what it is.
I couldn't agree more. And that, Chad, how many times have you played it and beat it?
Well, I've only beaten it once.
Once? Okay.
Well,
All right.
I've only played it through and beaten it once. I've beaten it multiple times on that one save.
Yep.
So it does bear noting that probably for most people that have a Switch, if you bought it within the first year, maybe even the 2, that Breath of the Wild was probably your first purchase. It had the highest attachment rate of any game ever for system purchases.
And if I'm not mistaken, there were more Zelda copies of the game versus Switches. So people were buying Zelda before they were getting their
Right.
Switch.
Oh, yes.
That's a fact, and that's not a statistic that gets thrown out very often.
No.
That never happens, because obviously it happened, but you don't normally see that. So I mean, Switch came out of the gate just running. I mean, like you said, Zelda, that was my first game that I bought. Zelda, and then Steampunk World Dig 2.
So that was your first digital one. Steam
Digital.
World Dig.
Yep,
Okay.
Steampunk World Dig 2, and then
You always call it
Zelda.
Steampunk World Dig too. It's just Steam World Dig.
I'd have to look at the exact title to see for sure.
Oh, I know, because when I was editing the one episode, I'm like, why do they keep calling it Steampunk World?
Is it not?
No,
Okay,
I think
well.
it's just Steam World.
I think it might just be Steam
Steam
World.
World.
Okay, then-
yeah, Steam World Dig 2. Which
How come nobody in the
Don't-
comments
don't
actually
quote
said
us.
anything sooner? Yeah, don't quote us is already the title, but okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No
I
problem.
thank you
No
for
problem.
correcting me. I really had no, and I was gonna keep rolling with that. So
Yeah.
it's just SteamWorld. Oh, that's
Yeah.
that.
Steam
That
World,
sounds
yeah, and
better.
Steam World
That-
Dig 2 came out before number 1 on the Switch.
Yeah. So that was actually the first game that I personally beat. And Zelda was a game where in my opinion, you didn't just beat it. You had to live through it, play through it,
Oh, yeah.
Master it.
experience it. I mean, there's still things to this day where, I mean, you can't get, quote unquote, the best sword in the game unless you have a certain amount of hearts. Like,
Yeah.
you're not getting it. It's just,
Right.
it's impossible to get. So I think it is a game you have to experience. So, I mean,
Definitely.
the Switch, I think, is great because you have games where they're epic games, and then you have games that, like Fortnite, like Super Smash, indie games, they're smaller glances that you
yes.
don't have to necessarily have the full meal. It's just a small bite.
Oh,
so.
Steam World Dig 2, I mean, 10 hours, right, to beat it?
Maybe
I think
less.
yours was over, I think yours on your profile says over 5 hours, so somewhere between 5 and 10.
You spent a lot of time looking for all of the little
I was
extras.
going for 100%.
Okay, yeah. I just
Yeah.
wanted to enjoy the game to the point where I'm like, oh, this is everything, and then I move it.
Yeah.
The more we talk about this, the more I want to dive into it. But then again, I still feel that way about Breath of the Wild. So.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the first one's good too, though. If you want more of it, go back, play the first one. Even though it's not, there's a little more advancements in the second
The
one to me.
housekeeping they did in number 2 was
And I believe
worthwhile.
there is actually another game that came out between those two.
I believe-
which I think
yes.
is SteamWorld Heist.
Heist.
Which I've not played, and so far as I'm aware, I think it's only on PC. I don't think I've seen it
No,
on other
I
consoles.
believe it's on. I thought it was on Switch. I could be wrong. I could. Don't quote us.
Again, I don't know.
I
I know I've
you
seen
know,
it.
it's not like we have a Switch that we could just look up right
No.
now or anything
No.
like
Well,
that.
not right in front of us,
No.
I have mine about 4 feet away, I think.
but
Never
not
that
right
far
in
away.
front of us.
Okay. So now we both bought Zelda as the first game. You bought Zelda as your first physical
Yeah.
game.
It was between that and Odyssey. That was
Okay.
my 2 choices, and I thought Zelda would encapsulate me a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really bring the Switch to life, because the Switch to me, I really got it because it was super portable.
Yes.
And I wanted to be able to take Zelda with me. I knew I was going to do a fair bit of traveling last year, and that really did. I wanted to dive into Zelda either on my couch or in an airport, at work, just whatever I could do. That's what I went with.
Okay.
So that was my thought process behind
So you
it.
picked it up in February of 2018.
Yep.
You buy Zelda.
Yep. And then
When
immediately
when did you finish Zelda?
Oh,
Was it just constant Zelda for a while, or?
can we say ... Because
Oh, no.
I am actually
You're
at
so
Hyrule Castle right now.
Okay.
I'm about
Wow.
to go for the final.
Well,
The 1 year journey, huh?
just
It's
saying,
probably more than that. So
just saying that you're at Hyrule Castle though, because you can go there at any time, and you can come in there and go for weapons
you
and
don't
things.
have to stay in there.
Look, I went to Hyrule Castle very early and went back to it frequently just for weapons.
Oh yeah, great.
Calamity
great restocking
Ganon
area.
is the next on the list.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. So I've yet to beat it.
Don't forget to take pictures
Okay.
while you're down there. Get
No,
the pictures.
I'm with you, but that's I think one of the reasons I can go back to that game at any time, and just because I haven't even finished it, and I'm thinking about going back through because I'm thinking of
Wow.
other things I can do.
To
and
have that amount of
experience.
time would be an amazing thing to me. But so first
What can I
digital
say?
game you said was Steam World Dig
Yep.
2. We got that set. What was your first digital?
Steam World Dig.
Was it Steam World Dig 2?
Yeah.
Did that come out before Stardew Valley?
Yes.
Okay, then Steam World Dig 2 was my first digital purchase. I thought it was. I thought that one came out after Stardew Valley. But I think everybody here Steam World Dig 2.
Yeah, and that usually never happens where
It's
we're
like
all
$10,
the same
wasn't
and everything.
it? Wasn't it only like $10?
It was pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, it
Was worth every penny.
Oh, it's
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Now that's a game I'll go back and replay because it's shorter. You know,
And
I-
that's no, like
I can't
as
get
we,
involved
as
in
we
Zelda
talk about it,
again.
I'm like, you know what? I think I might do that. I think the Switch games that we've talked about so far, the replay value are absolutely worth it, which I think inherently makes the console or the handheld. I keep saying that more worthwhile overall.
Console's accurate though.
It is
It's a portable
absolutely
console.
it is a portable console because if we're sitting on this couch right now, pop it in its dock and it's good to go. We have our controllers, absolute console, and it's going to throw up on a big screen and it's going to look as gorgeous as it can look.
Yep.
But it is absolutely a handheld too. Again, another reason why I got it. So, yeah, SteamWorld Dig 2 is where it just reminds me of Dig Dug. Does that not just take you back? Now, I'm not blowing stuff up with,
Right.
an air pump or anything, but it's still
it's
in that
similar.
same.
It's
in
similar,
that.
almost like a dig. I can see that. It's definitely like a more modern.
You're mining, right? You're mining.
Right,
That's what
right,
you're
right.
doing. You're trying to get as low as you can. Better materials lead to more money lead to better tools.
Oh, you were just an outright murderer, Dig Dug. That's all you were doing is you were going down and just murdering things, and then that's how you win the level. This game you don't have to. You can play passive if you want.
It's true.
But SteamWorld Dig would fall a little bit into that Metroidvania style game. There is
Yes.
exploration.
Yeah.
It's a little bit outside of the genre because of some of the digging aspects. I suppose you could put it in pseudo Minecraft-ish because of the mining portion, maybe.
I will say that
Yeah.
SteamWorld Dig 2's biggest luxury is the fast warp, which
Yes.
is not there in the first one. At least not as it doesn't seem like they're as plentiful, I guess I should say,
Yeah,
as they
they're
are in the
not
second
nearly
one.
as much.
Second one, they're so courteous with it. They're like, "Oh, we'll just put one here for you." It's the first one, you're backtracking all over
yes.
the place just to
I
get
thought
back
it was
to the
properly
surface.
placed in number 2, though. I thought like
Oh,
yeah,
play
this
the
is
first one. You'll see. You'll be
That
like,
I have
you'll
no
be like,
doubt.
"Oh, Christmas, where is one?" And you'll be like, "Oh, God, I gotta
Yeah.
go all the way over there." And
Makes
it
sense.
takes a while, and it's a bit of a trek. It's a bit of a trudge.
Number 2 is also a bigger game than the first one.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. First one, I could see though where it was the foundation for the second.
course.
When you play it, you're like, okay, yeah, okay. Oh, I'm so glad they did this in the second one. So
I'm
it's
still
nice.
waiting
it's
to
nice
see number
play.
3 because they set up for there to be a third one.
Okay. So and that brings up since you're talking about games, what's the game you want next on the Switch? What's the big game that hasn't been announced that you want?
That hasn't been
That
announced?
has not been announced. That's a toughie, huh? I know I'm just sitting there thinking as well. Where do we go? Where do you want? Almost every franchise has been talked about at this point.
almost.
It's a tough one, huh?
Steve first.
Steve first. All right, Steve.
Here's my issue. It's actually I'm ready for another Metroid game.
But they've announced it.
I know they've announced it, and I know that was your criteria, but unfortunately, I want to say the only other thing would be like a true Star Fox game. I would enjoy a true Star Fox game.
You
I know
still haven't-
Starlink. I have yet to dive into Starlink yet. That is an absolute fact, which I hear
You'll
is
see
a
it.
great game.
Yeah.
I have
Starlink
not
is
a doubt. If I'm going by your criteria,
Okay.
that's where I'm at.
All
but
right.
I want to see
do
the
Star
next.
Fox sequel.
I want to see the next Metroid.
Nintendo produced one. Or
Actually,
Nintendo.
can I backtrack a little bit? And this
Go
might,
ahead.
Okay, good. Well, it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want anyway. So here's the deal. I am a super big fan of Yoshi's Story. With the one where Mario's a baby and everything. Or Yoshi's World. Yoshi's World.
Yeah, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's
Yes.
Island.
Okay, so a
Yoshi's
lot of
Island,
people
huh?
don't consider that a Mario game or, I thought at the time it added a new mechanic. If they wanted to throw another one of those games at me,
Oh my god, you know what you would love? Woolly World on the Wii U. If they port that over, all I can say is grab it.
I think
because
they're absolutely going to.
It's very. Me and my wife played it together. It is 2 players simultaneous and such. If they port that over to Switch, it's outside of the cosmetic difference, it's the same type of game, same collecting of the flowers and everything.
That's kind of, I think that's what I'd go with.
I don't know how Crafted World's gonna be, which is coming out in March. Crafted World,
It's gonna be
the
here
next
before we know
Yoshi.
it.
But I guess I'm gonna have to cheat a little too. Toe Jam and Earl. There's one almost like a number 4, I guess. It's basically going back to the beginnings, and it's very similar to the original game from the Genesis.
Original developer, original maker. Like I want to say it's like True Blue original.
And they
people
did some
working
cool
with it.
things because they have additional characters you can play as that were more from the second game. If you ever played the second one, Panic on Funkotron.
I never played.
Oh.
Yep.
I think it's that Panic on Funkotron. And basically you're wandering around trying to find the parts of your ship so you can put the ship back together so you can get off of Earth and get back to your home planet. And it's just a top-down game of almost like you're walking, almost like a top-down, I guess. And you're revealing the map pieces and you're trying to find them.
One was.
Yeah, that's what it's like. And you're going up through layers, and every time, if you fall off of a level, you go down to the level previous. And you have to keep working your way through and finding all the pieces. And they fixed so many things, altered, improved, from the original game in the respect that if somebody reveals a map piece or something, to look at the map, they have the map in the corner of their little screen, and you have the map in the corner of yours, so that you're not basically stopping the other person from continuing on. They did a lot of improvements that look great. Just come out already. That's what I want. I want it to come out. So it can be announced. So just go with it. Since they're covering everything else anyway.
Well, I'll try to stick to the criteria. For me, it's not going to be so much of an individual title as going to be simply to say whatever the next big RPG games is going to be. For me, that would probably be whatever the next flagship Tales game from Namco Bandai.
Oh. Bando Namco.
Namco Bandai. There we go.
All right.
Anyway, the Tales series. I would love to see the next flagship game of that come out on the Switch. We've done simultaneous releases on almost all the other major consoles. Mm-hmm. They've now just re-released the Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition.
Just last week.
Which it just came out, just got delivered on Friday. So I've got it. I've put a couple hours into it. Some things I like, some things I don't for what they've done, but I love it. The fact that I've got it now on the Switch. But I want the next flagship one to show up on there. The last 2 games, Tales of Zestiria and Berseria, both came out on the PC.
I know.
And fantastic. I've got them on Steam. Previously, Vesperia was originally released on Xbox 360. They did a later release it on PS3 in Japan, which had additional content that never saw stateside until the 10-year anniversary re-release now, which is the one that just came out here on the Switch. So what I want, whatever that next one is, which they haven't even announced it, we don't even know when it's coming or what its name is, but that's what I want. I want the next Tales game, and I want it on the Switch.
Okay. That's a good one. I was gonna say when you said RPG, I was gonna say the Final Fantasy games have been dated, a couple of them for a Switch. So, but if you want Tales of, we hear you.
Tales, honestly, is probably my favorite RPG series. I'd rank it even above Final Fantasy.
Or a Last Story 2. Another Last Story, I guess.
That's another interesting point. That yes, they had Final Fantasy, and then they tried to create another series called Last Story. Square just seems to have a thing with sort of implying, hey, we're going away, but never.
No.
All right. Well, there's a lot probably we can talk about with the Switch and where it's going, but we can do that in another video. So I guess we'll just wrap it up here.
Sounds good. My name's Steve.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chad.
Bye.
Thank you.